There is a very beautiful saying in ancient Tamil where they're saying, Kaveri nadandu vandada valam. So, it's important that the conditions in which the police work have to change so that they can smile, they can address the people as citizens of this nation. Young people must set this standard that we are a law-abiding nation. If we create that, then policeman is not somebody you fear. Namaskaram and welcome to everyone. What a blessed place to be on the banks of Kaveri, the lifeblood of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Well, some people are angry, you're holding her here. There is a very beautiful saying in ancient Tamil where they're saying, Kaveri nadandu vandada valam. That means, only if Kaveri walks, she is prosperity. If she runs, she is destruction. So how to make her walk? Well, she walked when there were lots of forests, there's enough vegetation, she walked. As we started understanding trees as wood, and unfortunately even Indian people have started calling forests as woods these days. I must share this with you. It once happened when I was in the university. We were largely studying English poets, and our English teacher wanted to introduce American poetry to us. And she introduced Robert Frost and said glorious things about him. And then she started off, woods are lovely, dark and deep. I said, stop. She said, why? I said, a man who calls a tree a wood, I don't want to listen to that guy. She said, no, Robert Frost is a fantastic poet. I said, I don't care who he is, but a man who calls tree a wood, I don't want to listen to that guy. It is like those who are crazed with certain needs and lust, they would look at a woman and think sex. A tiger will look at you and think breakfast. It's allowed for the tiger, not allowed for a human being to think like that. So seeing a tree and instead of seeing it as a phenomenal life, you see the wood in it. This is a tragic affair. This tragedy is not for the vegetation, this tragedy is for us ultimately. If we cut too many of them, we will die slowly. We're rapidly going in this direction. So being here on the banks of Kaveri, it's a reminder. We've been trying to remind the governments of the day, both at the center and the states. It took me a few months to make people who are in positions of responsibility and power, who are the key to making something happen in the country, to make them understand there is no substitute for vegetation. There is no substitute for shaded land under the trees. There is no way you can enrich the soil without the leaves of the tree and the waste… animal waste. Without these two things, there is no way you're going to do anything. If farmers are committing suicide, just know it's not the bank, it's the land. The land is getting weaker and weaker. As land gets weaker, whatever the quality of the land that we walk upon and sit upon right now, that is the quality of our body, that is the quality of our life. To get this point across, it took many months of non-stop talking. Today, many states and particularly the central government is very absolutely convinced about it. As a part of this, in the catchment area of Kaveri. In the coming hopefully, or a maximum of 3 years, we will be planting 25 crore trees. Now don't clap your hands, this means lot of work. Keep your hands ready when I call you because there is lot of work. Because I promised the governments, apart from we are trying to move the territorial armies, now the central government is planning to create a river army. That is, they're actually going to employ people in thousands just to safeguard the rivers in the country. Never before such things have been done in this country. So they're creating a river army, there are territorial army, and maybe we will use the Indian army. I've spoken to the armed forces and they're all willing to volunteer for a period of time. But above all, we want students and young people in Karnataka. We're talking about at least 10,000 people per week, 6 to 8 weeks if they come in weekly rotations. If the same people stay, my life will become very easy because training new batch of people every week is going to drive me crazy. Yes, but if the same people stay, it'll be fantastic, but I don't believe young people can stay in one place for 6 weeks focused on something. So we are hoping 1 week, 10,000 people at a time, 6 weeks if they come, we have a plan. We will be using certain amount of technology, helicopters, drones and everything to do this. But the important thing is, the people who live on the land, this is going to be largely in forest and government lands, but people who live in the adjacent lands, the villages and adjacent lands and agricultural places, to make them all understand how important it is that this vegetation comes back large scale. That is a job we want the students to do. We will train them one day, 6 days they need to work on the field. The young people, are you up to it?
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
So, there are many things. It's a shame that wherever I go, people are talking, Sadhguru, but there is no employment. God damn it, this is called as a developing country. That means most of the things are not done. What are you saying, there is no employment? If you have eyes, if you have sense, you will stand up and do something that's needed to be done in this country. If it's a developed country, you can say, what do I do? There's nothing to do here. This is a developing country, just walk into this village and see how many things to be done yet. Yes or no? But everybody wants to go and sit in an office. Believe me, you will live longer and better if you walk the terrain. If you do something with the river, something with the forest, something with the farmers, you will live much longer and better than sitting in an office. I just came from Bangalore. I was just telling them, what have you done to this damn city, huh? 35, 40 years ago, Singana is here, whenever we felt like it, we just rode to Bangalore, simply raced down Mahatma Gandhi Road and just one tea and rode all the way back to Mysore. Look at that MG road, disaster. What have you done to that city? It doesn't feel like Bangalore, it doesn't even feel like Karnataka, if you ask me. The temperature is not like Karnataka, the air is not like Karnataka. I'm saying, in Karnataka, in Mysore and Bangalore, nobody elbowed their way into anything. We were gentle, we waited, we were all right. Today, Bangalore city, everybody is elbowing their way all the time, rough and tumble every moment. Well, if we live like this, if this is the conditions our children grow up in, we will produce tyrants, we will not produce human beings. Fortunately, most of these tyrants are impotent. If they're potent, they would become Adolf Hitlers. Impotent, so they push each other on the street. So, there are sayings in Kannada that those who drink the water of Kaveri, those who drink from the breast of Kaveri are gentle and wonderful people. Please, all of you must drink today. But now it's getting rough. You will get tired and break one day if you live rough like that. It's important that gentleness is not only with a couple of people that you call as loved ones, gentleness is there on the street, gentleness is there in the place of work. We can even ride very fast but gently. Hello? The motorcycle riders, I'm saying. We can ride fast, but we can ride gently. Possible? Hello? Gentle does not mean slow or no good. Not just on the road, in everything in life I'm saying. Gentle does not mean incompetent. Gentle does not mean slow. Gentle does not mean lack of exuberance. Gentle means you're a human being. That's what it means. You're not… because we're largely animal, only a small part is human. Being human is a new affair as far as the evolutionary process is concerned. But it's that new dimension in us which makes us significant on this planet. If you leave out that one small part of being human, rest is all animal only. At least the other animals, their life is contained by nature between two lines. Being human, we are not contained. If we become animals, we become really horrible kind of animals. So, this is not a model class for you. What I'm saying is, if we want ourselves and future generations, because I've even stopped talking about future generations because in our own lifetime we may see something terrible happening around us. We were thinking it's going to happen to the next generation, so we went on doing whatever we were doing. Now we know it can happen in our lifetime, not in the next generation. If we don't want to see terrible things happening to us by Mother Nature hitting back at us in so many different ways, it's important that we learn to walk gently, breathe gently, conduct this life gently upon this planet. And gentleness will not come without looking at life sensibly. So, we're here on the banks of Kaveri. I lived very close by for a few years in Elval, in a small farm. And when I got very hungry and anyway I didn't have money, so I came here, fished. Right here on the banks of Kaveri, I caught fish and ate right here and went back. So, this place is very familiar and dear to me. It's truly wonderful to be sitting here with many people that I know from a very young age, who have all come here, a few of them. And also tomorrow, we're even going back to the school. I'm going back to the school where I studied 45 years ago. This was not supposed to be a nostalgic trip. This was supposed to be about youth and truth, but everywhere else when it comes to schedule, I'm little hard on what should happen, what should not happen. When it comes to Mysore, I'm a little soft and they're misusing it completely. Anyway, thank you for being here. If you have any questions, we can just look at it for a few minutes.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. I'm Vijay I'm studying horticulture here in Welshwadi Park. I just wanted to know, you have mentioned a lot about planting trees to save rivers, and for most of the environmental issues, planting trees is one of the most important jobs that we have to do in today's world. So, how do you know all these details? Like, being an agriculturist, I want to know, how did you get this experience with the trees and plants and…
Oh, right from my birth, I lived on this planet. Do I look like I came from somewhere? No, this is how men are supposed to look. Some men have modified themselves, but this is how a man is supposed to look. This is not from Mars, this is on this planet, okay? This grows on this planet, you know. So as this grows on this planet, plants and trees also grow on this planet. Unfortunately, today our education system has become like this. We think every damn thing that you need to know in your life is in a book. If you think everything is in a book, you are a religious person. You are not a student, you are not an agriculturist, because these farmers know more about agriculture than somebody who's done PhD in agriculture. They never read a book on agriculture, they lived here, so they know. Similarly, I lived here, I lived on the land, I spent a lot of time in the jungles in Western Ghats. Well, once I rode down and floated down Kaveri from Bhagamandla on just about 6 or 8 bamboos and 4 truck tubes. I just floated down for 13 days. So I know the river very well, where it is… there is sufficient water coming in, where it is just being used, where it's being contributed to, where it is being exploited, is very clear if you just go down the river. You must do this. But today you have all kinds of dinghies and boats and everything, you can use something better than me, I only had 4 truck tubes. But you can use something better and you must just float down Kaveri once, observing, not just quickly on a speedboat, slowly, taking 10-15 days, you will understand how a river is made. What makes a river? It's not some kind of science that you read in a book. It is here if you pay attention, it's all here. So, because I'll finish this today itself because tomorrow I want to behave like a good student in the school, my old teachers are there coming. But I went to school only when it was absolutely necessary. I made myself so nondescript most of the time so that nobody would notice whether I am there or not there. So mostly they did not notice both in school and college. So I spent a lot of time initially riding on a on a bicycle, then on a scooter, then on a motorcycle. Then motorcycle powered me up to ride across the country many times. So, I know the land well. If you feel the land, you know what the land needs for its well-being. It doesn't take a genius to understand that if you watch these in different seasons, this green leaf will turn brown and fall down. Where does it go? Not one or two, millions of tons of leaves are falling down. Where does it go? That's the soil, that's the richness of the soil. And millions of animals, wild and otherwise, all of them shit. Hello? Where does it go? That is the soil. Without leaf and human also, human and animal excrement, there is no soil. Soil will become sand. So minimum, the United Nations says this, I don't agree with this. United Nations says, for soil to be called as soil, there must be at least 2% organic content. You ask the farmer who puts his… you must see how the farmers with what joy they put their hand into soil mixed with manure and say, wow, it's so rich. You ask them how much should be the percentage. If it is 5 to 8%, you will see just about anything grows. But today trees are gone, animals are going to Saudi Arabia. How do you enrich the soil? How? Nearly 25% of India will become sandy in the next 10 to 15 years' time. By 2030, it is expected 25% of India will be not cultivable. So all of you young people who are studying agriculture, I know some of you have to go into government jobs or whatever research and this and that, but too much research and not enough science going into action is no good. As a part of Rally for Rivers, we invited some farmers experts from Vietnam. Vietnam is exporting nearly $3 billion worth of fruit, it's a small country compared to who we are. And all this started only about 10 to 15 years ago. Their fruit quality is much better than ours, their rice quality is much better than ours. I was in California and all the rice there is from Thailand. I asked, why are you not getting Indian rice? They didn't know. Then I inquired around, why are you not getting Indian rice? We know how to grow rice in India. Then I went about asking. Then somebody who knows this matter told me, Sadhguru, Indian rice has no nutrients in it. There's nothing in it except starch. There is nothing in the Indian rice. So in America, we don't want Indian rice because it doesn't have any nutrients. I said, what happened to our rice? Well, we grow rice on urea, not on a rich soil. So they are getting rice only from Thailand. Now these Vietnamese experts came, we made small experiments with small groups of farmers. We have multiplied their income somewhere between 3 to 8 times. We thought this is a great achievement. But when they came and we asked them, they said in the last 6 years, they have multiplied their farmers' income 20 times over. This is unbelievable. How can you do 20 times over? When we asked them, they're laughing at us. They all came to India about 21, 22 years ago. They studied in that… what's that in Delhi, there's an agro institute? They studied in that institute. They said, we studied there, we went back and put our knowledge into the land. Your people just earn PhDs. We put it into the land and this is what happened to us. They came here and studied and there they made it happen. We have the knowledge, we have the technology, we have the people, we just don't have a sense. Sense is missing in us. This sense, I want the young people who are doing agriculture to bring it back. You must bring this science that you're studying back into the land, not as a service. This can be a great enterprise. Why I'm saying this is, in terms of latitudinal spread, from Kanyakumari to Himalayas if you see, we have enough latitude in terms of weather patterns, temperatures, rain, everything. We can grow almost anything that anybody grows anywhere on this planet, 12 months of the year. Very few nations in this world can do 12 months agriculture. This is one of those fortunate countries. But today our farmers are committing suicide simply because ad hoc we are doing things. Everything is ad hoc, nothing is planned, nothing is organized, the scale is not there in anything. This is something you can do, we have gotten this going with the government, we changed some of the laws. Young people can go out and form farmer-producer organizations and aggregate 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 farmers depending on your capacity. And if you aggregate irrigation and aggregate marketing and the farmer just does farming, you will make a miracle happen in this country. Right now the problem is, he cannot invest in technology because the scale is very small, just 2 acres, 3 acres holdings. With that kind of holding, you can't invest in a big way. Everybody takes loan, everybody puts borewell, everybody has micro irrigation, which fails anyway after 1 year. Once the subsidy comes, the micro irrigation fails. It can only be managed if there is scale. If we put 1,000, 2,000 acres together, then we can create a scale. This is something young people should take it as an enterprise, it'll be very lucrative and it's very important agriculture is lucrative. If you make a survey right now, you ask these farmers and see how many of them want their children to go into farming. Believe me, it is somewhere between 2 to 5%, not more. This means in the next 20 to 25 years, when this generation passes, we would have lost all ability to grow food. With 1.3 billion people on our hands, if you lose your ability to grow food, you can imagine the disaster you will cause in this country. You're not Dubai or something, you will buy everything from all over the world and eat it here. It's not going to work like that for India. Unless we grow our food, we are finished. But we are heading that way because a child cannot even go to the farm. If a farmer's son goes to his farm, along with his father will be arrested as child labor. on child labor charges. The father will be arrested because he took his 8-year-old son to his farm and both of them are working. With this kind of stupid approach, there is no future for Indian agriculture. We are trying to change this now. Education policy we are working on, because without changing the education policy, we cannot change the situation of the farmer. So, already government has announced that only 50% of the time in a school, if children are there for 7 hours, only 3.5 hours will be focused on academics, another 3.5 hours they will do sport, agriculture, arts, crafts, music. See, if the way these people are singing, just a small bunch left, there was a time when the entire village could sing. Now just a small bunch left. Do you think their children are also going to learn this music? No, they're software engineers in Bangalore, already, most probably. I'm saying, we've gotten into this madness, what one person does, everybody must do. It is time that agriculture becomes a prime activity in this country and a lucrative activity. If you don't make it very, very lucrative process, in the next 25 years, we will lose our ability to grow food in this country. This is something that must happen. So, those of you who are in this agriculture and horticulture, particularly horticulture becomes very, very important. If we want to save this land, why this becomes a problem is, the population and land, the proportions that we have is very unnatural proportion. With this kind of population, if you want to maintain the quality of this land, more food should come from the trees. Very, very important. This scratching the earth and growing one crop every 3 months is not going to work for us long term. It's very, very important that more food, a lot more food needs to come from the trees. That means horticulture becomes prime. I want you… maybe you've not seen, but if you fly from Mysore city to, let's say, Delhi, you just keep looking down. Except for the Western Ghats, you will see the entire country looks like a brown desert. There is no greenery, there are no water bodies. Most of the rivers that you see along the way are only sand rivers. When we were doing Rally for Rivers, when we asked children to draw or paint rivers, you won't believe most of them painted sand because they have not seen a river flowing full with water, they have not seen. There is a video which went viral, this one Marathi girl in, near Mumbai. I wish we had something to show you. But this girl, she can speak only Marathi. She gave a speech, 20-minute speech, without any paper, nothing. So passionately she spoke. This Sadhguru is saying he's going to revive the rivers, this, that, he talks about a river where he floated out. I don't believe all this. I've never even seen a river on which I can float. The way she spoke, this is the future generation, they've not seen a river. We made a survey in Coimbatore city and we found 80% of the people below 20 years of age have not seen a river in their life. They've seen it only in the movies or in the pictures. How many of you, this is the first time you're near a river? Being in Karnataka, that should not be the case, but it could be true in Bangalore city. Bangalore city had 1,000 lakes and 3 perennial rivers in the city. Today there are 81, 42 of them are just sewage. And the 3 rivers, nobody is able to trace where they are. They're just gone, maybe your house is sitting on it, maybe there's a shopping mall where we are happy. So, if we don't act now as a generation of people, this land, which has nurtured thousands of years of culture and civilization, will go through tremendous upheavals in the coming decades if we don't take the right action. Right now we are pushing towards this. I want all of you to be a part of it in some way, in whichever way you can. Please.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Sadhguru, Siddha medicine is more related to spiritual and environment. And now the Siddha medicine is dying and the medicinal plant also dying. Do you have any plan for Siddha medicine?
Well, we have done some work on the Siddha medicine. We are using Siddha medicine very effectively. But the problem that we have found with Siddha medicine is, this problem is there with Ayurveda also, but much more with Siddha. We are finding that the input, the ingredients which go into it, they need to be of a certain quality, which is very difficult to manage. These things a Siddha Vaidya is conscious of. If you pluck the tree in the morning, how it is. If you pluck the leaf in the evening, what is its quality? If you pluck it in summer, what's its quality? If you pluck it after rain, what is the quality? All these things they're conscious, but they're not able to maintain it. We are using Siddha very effectively, but in a small scale. We've been experimenting for over 20 years to increase the scale. But if you stretch the scale, the effectiveness goes down. This is a big challenge. This is where the modern medicine or the allopathic medicine is super effective because they're just chemicals. You can produce any amount of tons and tons of tablets you can produce. But Siddha medicine is not like that, it's very organic and there is an elemental part to it which needs a certain level of expertise for people to be able to use it. There are heavy metals, there is use of mercury in Siddha very effectively. These things need application. It's not like a 5-year MBBS you did and there you are. This needs a lot of involvement in application, that you need to understand these things experientially, and procuring ingredients has become very difficult. Because we live right next to a fantastic mountain in our background, we have the privilege of having access to certain things, but we try to move this to United States because we have a clinic there. But the moment it dries up, the desiccated ones, the preserved ones, refrigerated ones don't have the same impact, don't have the same quality. So, scale is a big problem. This is something nobody will admit, but I'm telling you, any Ayurvedic medicine, whatever company it is, from one batch to another batch, the variation can be 300%. You understand? 300% variation. Because maintaining batch quality in Ayurvedic medicine and particularly in Siddha medicine is nearly impossible because nobody can control in what condition this particular leaf is when you pluck it. Even if you take enormous care, the batch quality is not happening. One batch is fantastic, another batch is down there, another batch is somewhere in between. This is the problem with this traditional medicine. Only when it's fresh and right there, it works in a fantastic way. You will see those of them who are coming towards rejuvenation, our rejuvenation programs, there are incredible health stories there, how they've been cured of most incredible things that they never believed, no doctor believed possible, they've come out of it. But we are not pushing it out because we're still not capable of scaling it up. Now we're in the process of setting up a 1200-bed alternative hospital, but we are doing this because we have the power of yogic practices. We are not depending on just the medicine, so we are able to go there, but scaling it up is a huge problem. And the land was rich with lot of herbs and everything available, Siddha medicine prospered. But now that you have to go to one particular hill to get this, it's not working the same way. This is also a possibility for agricultural students, that if you find an enterprise, if not you, somebody else is doing an enterprise on alternative health systems, if you do agriculture around it of only medicinal plants, it can be an extremely lucrative process. At the same time, it can produce effective medicine for that region. So this is the only way to bring back Ayurveda and Siddha in an effective way. If agriculture and horticulture students go into it, that if somebody is willing to set up a hospital, around that you will grow medicinal plants in the right kind of quality in an organic manner, this could bring back traditional medicine back into an effective process rather than starting factories, which is not really a best way to do it.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ. ನಾವು 20-30 ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಕೃಷಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಹಾಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನು ಅಂದರೆ ಬೀಜ ಆಗಲಿ ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ಆಗಲಿ ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಂಥ ರೈತ ಸ್ವಾವಲಂಬಿಯಾಗಿ ಬದುಕಿದ್ದ. ಇವತ್ತು ಕೃಷಿ ಇಲಾಖೆ, ತೋಟಗಾರಿಕೆ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಈ ಥರದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಲಾಖೆಗಳು ಸೇರಿ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಅವನನ್ನು ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಥರ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಪರಾವಲಂಬಿ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ. ಮತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ತೋಟಗಾರಿಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಕೃಷಿ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಅದೊಂದು ಸಂದೇಶ ಸಾಲಂಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
ನಾನು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕುಂಟುತ್ತೆ. See, this is a disaster which is unfolding across the world. Corporatization of agriculture. What should have been corporatized is irrigation, marketing, but instead they corporatized seed, fertilizer, everything. I remember I was into farming in this region. About 40 years ago, I remember fertilizer companies coming and advising the farmers, you must cut all the trees around your land, because if trees are there, it will suck up all the fertilizer, it will not go to your crop. But ask the local farmers, I don't know if they still have anything left, but if you ask the previous generation, there are older people, trees in the farm were an insurance. You want to get your daughter married, cut one tree, your daughter's wedding is over. You want to send your boy to the university, cut another tree, his university education is over. Or you want to build a house, cut 2 trees, you build a house. And trees were always growing on the side. Everybody kept a certain part of the land for trees. But I know this personally, that they went about advising every farmer, you must cut all the trees, otherwise fertilizer utilization will not happen, it'll all go waste. Trees are aggressive root systems, they will take it away. Since then, it's happened everywhere. For example, because if you say a river in India, people say Ganga. See, Ganga basin accounts for 25% of India's geography, 33% of India's agriculture. In the Ganga basin, in the last 50 years, we have cut down 92% of the green cover. 92%. What is our plan for this country? Are we I think most people are thinking how to send their children to America or Europe or somewhere. They are not thinking their children will live in this country. If we thought our children are going to live here, I think we would have left something. Hello? Isn't it so? Because people claim their children are dear to them. If your children are dear to you, do you leave a nation where you remove 92% of green cover in 50 years? Next year, the big river in this country, the major, most important river in this country, this is what we have done. So, the power of holding our own seed in our hand was a tremendous power. In Karnataka, this was called as Bij Devaru. In every home, there were a few sacks of seed in one corner that we every day worshipped, which only after the rain it was touched. Even if we are hungry, we did not touch it. Even when our children were hungry, we did not touch it, because this seed came from our forefathers. Because southern India, particularly certain parts of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, these are the only 3 states in the entire world where we have a history of farming for over 12,000 years. 12,000 years we farmed the same land, probably some of them same families, 12,000 years. And most of the time, the same seed for the last many thousand years, we've been using the same seed. And this we broke in the last 35–40 years, which is the most idiotic thing that this nation has done. The most idiotic thing, because we're going to pay a huge price for this. Most of the cereals are gone, everybody is just eating white rice and wheat, nothing else is left. Millet is now millets are a very fashionable diet. It's eaten by the models, not by common people. Yes, millets have become fashionable diet. Only those who walk the ramp eat millets. Common people just gobble one kind of cereal, which was not the way. At different times of the year, we ate different kinds of cereals, which kept us healthy and well. Today, they're doing $1 billion research and telling us that's the way to eat. Harvard University made a research and at last they arrived at the ideal breakfast. Earlier they told us you have to eat 5 eggs in the morning, otherwise you won't make it. Then they told you, you have to eat meat, a piece of meat, if you don't eat meat, you won't have protein and you will die and all those things. Then they told you, you must eat cornflakes. Then somebody came out and said, meat is the most horrible thing to eat, 5 eggs in a day means your brains won't work, and and if you eat cornflakes is the highest gluten that you can find in any cereal. It's the worst cereal that you can eat on the planet is corn, but the entire world is eating cornflakes because cornflake is fashionable, because Americans eat it. But anyway, Americans have given it up now. If you go to any American hotel, there is no cornflake. They all got mueslis of mixed 8 kind of cereals mixed and eating. This is how we were eating. And anyway, Harvard University made a big research about a year ago they published, 70% carb and 30% protein is a good way to eat at last. Well, this is our idli, this is our dosa, this is our pongal, 70% carb and 30% protein. We've been eating this forever. So, this is going on like this and unfortunately, we've not only raped the land, we've taken away the natural seed, which not only took sustenance from the land, which also nurtured the land. This is the important thing about the indigenous seed, is it not only takes sustenance, it also nurtures the soil. You bring some strange thing and put it there, people have seen in Karnataka, big disaster has happened, silver oak and eucalyptus trees, they only took sustenance from the land, did not nurture the soil. You go walk into a eucalyptus plantation and see how the land is, not even insects are there, because even they don't want to be there. Just know one thing, if the worms and insects don't like it, that means you're done. Because all the studies say, if all the worms on this planet disappear, life will end on this planet within 12 to 18 months. All life, except a few microbes deep down in the earth, all life including you and me will die just because worms have disappeared. If all the insects die, in 4.5 to 6 years, all life on this planet will disappear. Well, if the microbes die, by today evening we'll all be dead, entire humanity and all life. But if all of us die, planet will flourish. Yes, we make good manure. That's the only good thing about us right now. We make good manure, but earth has to wait for us. So, bringing back natural seed is a very important thing, but right now the market has become like this. It needs a changeover. If a changeover has to happen, this is what we are trying to do by aggregating as farmer producer organizations. We got tax relief for the farmer producers organization. This is the wonderful thing, at least the government is responsive now. I gave a letter to the Prime Minister that, see, if individual farmer, there is no tax. If 10 farmers get together and do something together, there is 30% tax. So I gave a letter to him saying, what is this? Are we making sure that farmers never get together except to protest on the street and die beaten down by somebody? Shouldn't they not get together for their economic process and you will tax them 30%? And the next day, I gave this letter the previous evening. The next day evening or afternoon, they announced that tax for FPOs is taken off. So farmers can get together and operate. See, if you want to bring back organic farming using natural seed or the indigenous seed, it's important the entire region goes for it. Right now, the reason why organic farming is failing is, you do organic farming, your next door neighbor believes in full spray. So moment he takes out his prayer, all the insects and other things are in your farm. Unless the region, at least a minimum of 5 to 10,000 hectares, if they go organic, you will see they will make immense amount of money. It will be far more beneficial, far more healthy, and it'll be exportable because everywhere in the world people are looking for indigenously grown organic substance. And this ability to market also will only happen only if the farmers come together. I must tell you this, in Coimbatore, just outside of Coimbatore, we started a farmers producers organization just 2.5 years ago. In these 2.5 years, in less than that, in about 1.5 years' time, we doubled their income. We did nothing, we did not do any work. I just gave 3 young boys with phones. They just went on calling from morning to evening, negotiating. Income doubled without doing anything on the land. Now we are beginning to work on the land. How this happens is, it's just this. That region is largely arecanut and coconut area. This is a live example I'm telling you. Arecanut merchants will come with their trucks and everything. He will come to a big farmer who's got a huge heap, 54 rupees per kilogram. Medium farmer has a medium heap, 35 rupees per kilogram. Small farmer has small heap, 24 rupees per kilogram on the same day. Everybody knows this, but what to do? If you argue with him, he says, okay, you keep it and he will go. So we did one thing, if you come to that region, you have to talk to the FPO, you don't talk to the individual farmer. We, put everything together. Today everybody is getting 54 rupees and now it's gone to 72 rupees and they're making double the money. So I'm saying, this is all that is needed, we need scale. The biggest problem with agriculture is there is no scale. If you want to bring back indigenous seed, if you want to bring back organic farming, if we want to make sure this marketing becomes a successful process, we need scale, we need a FPO. Farmers Producers Organization is different from cooperatives because in cooperatives, politicians could be board members. In a Farmers Producers Organization, only a local farmer, not a new farmer, only a local farmer who has owned the land for 2 generations can be a member and a board member of the FPO. So it will be ruled by the farmers, that's the important thing. They can hire a CEO, they can hire a agricultural graduate, but the decision-making will be in the hands of the farmer. That is the significance of FPO. It is a new happening. There are over 3,000 FPOs in the country, small scale, but we are looking at how to get 25 to 50,000 farmers under one FPO. Only then you can bring back this seed in a big way.
Guruji, namaste. My name is Madhuchandan. 4 years back, I was a software engineer working in California. So 4 years back, I came back to Mandya. Mandya is my native, which is next to Mysore district. So we started
No, the Mysore people have some opinions about Mandya, that's why they laugh. They're okay.
So after coming back, I grouped with my friends and we started organic farmers cooperative, which is now has become a FPO and a private limited company called Organic Mandya. So right now we have 12,000 farmers.
Fantastic, that's what is needed, that is the thing. It's the only solution forward.
Guruji, we started with an intention to make Mandya a organic, chemical-free district by 2020, and we are going towards it. So, first of all, thank you and we need your blessings. So, I don't have any questions, Guruji. Only one thing, what makes me happier is, India has seen a lot of gurus. Most of the gurus are busy building institutions, building enterprises. I was really worried about the youth of our country. You are the one among the few gurus who are really advising, showing the direction to our youth. You are leading them to the right path. My daughter, she is in 10th standard. I don't know if you were not there, I think she would have been listening to rock or pop or something like that. But today she listens to your talk.
I'm rock, huh? What the hell? I'm not rock, what?
Yeah, she's listening to you. So thanks for…
Rock and roll is from our times.
So thank you, Guruji, thank you for that.
That's a wonderful thing I'm noticing in the country. Wherever I go, school children, between the ages of 12 and 15, thousands of them are listening to spiritual talk. I couldn't believe it. Nobody could make me listen to your spiritual talk when I was 15. No way. But these days, kids are listening to spiritual talk. I've been asking them, are your parents forcing you? They say, no, we like it, we're listening. I think this is a phenomenon in the country, that school children below 15 years of age are listening to spiritual talk. This is not a small thing, this is a new beginning. I don't know, when I was your age, if there's water like this, it doesn't matter which guru is talking, I would have just jumped into the water. But I see all of you are very tame, very tame. Those who want to jump into the water can jump, as long as you know how to swim and come back. There's not going to be any rescue operations. Hello? Even if I goad you, you won't? Okay. ಏನು ಹೀಗಾಗೋಯ್ತು ಪ್ರಪಂಚ? ನೀರು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗೋದೇ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ.
Good evening, Guruji. And this is T.R. Sunilkam from College of Horticulture, Mysuru. And my question is about the nation, the recent developments which are going on. Does this country belongs to a particular religion? And why, and the politicians who are involved in that, they are wanna build a Hindu nation or Hindu Rashtra, something like that. But it's a country where we respect everybody and everybody respect among themselves. And something is which is going on that they are about to rewrite the constitution. Is there any problem with the constitution?
Who is telling you such things? Who told you they're about to rewrite the constitution?
They are about to, sir. I said that they are about to.
No, how do you know they're about to?
They are about to, in the sense I go through many Facebook postings.
No, you're a social media.
No, nothing like that, sir. It has been well explained by Mr. Shashi Tharoor.
Okay.
And my question is that India belongs to a particular religion.
Well, let's understand this. There are religions in the world. A religion essentially means there is a fixed belief system. You have to believe this, this and this. That this is the God and this is the messenger, this is the heaven, this is the hell, you have to believe something like this. But in India, there is no such belief system. Everybody makes up their own belief as they want. See, just now, the people who are sitting here, they're talking about how even the plantain trees are all bowing down only to worship Kaveri. So if they drink water, they'll worship the water. If sun comes up, they'll worship the sun. If they see the tree, they'll worship the tree. If they see a stone, they'll worship the stone. There is no particular belief. And there is no the God anywhere in this culture. So belief makes a religion, but here there is no belief. The best thing about Hindus is they're eternally confused. That's the greatest thing about them. No, I'm not saying this in a negative way. Because it's very important that human beings see what I do not know as I do not know. Whatever you do not know, you have some stupid explanation written somewhere and you just believe it. No, in this culture, we know we do not know. So, we don't know who is God, so we make up our own God. Right now it's Ganesh Chaturthi time. Just see how many gods we made in the town, different styles, all right? For the next week or 10 days or 15 days, we'll go full on, Ganapati, Ganapati, Ganesh, 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 full on. Music is about Ganapati, bhajan is about Ganapati, food is about Ganapati, everything is about him. But when we're done with him, we put him in the water, dissolve him. Because this is the only culture which is conscious that God is our making. Rest of the people believe God made them. We know we made the gods, and we know we can dissolve them when we're done with them. So when we said Hindu, you must understand this. This word comes from two geographical features. He comes from Himalayas, the Himalayan ranges. You ever been to Himalayas? You must go, young man. Because being in India, if you don't see Himalayas, you really missed it. You must see, all young people, at least once in your lifetime, you must walk through Himalayas because it's beyond imagination, beyond anybody's imagination. So, Himalayas and in the south, Indusagara, today we're calling it Indian Ocean, this was called as Indusagara. The land that lies between Himalayas and Indusagara we called is Hindu. Why we became reverential about these two geographical features is, when we had evolved our civilization, when we had evolved our mathematics, culture, music, many other aspects and sciences here, rest of the world were nomadic and roaming around like beasts, killing each other. And all these beasts were kept away because of Himalayas and Indusagara. We knew we are not fighting men. We did not build huge armies for invasion, but we built music, most profound sort of music. Nowhere on the planet do you have as complex a music system and mathematical systems as we have, because people invested in this. Music, mathematics, spirituality, astronomy. Because men were invested in this, there were not enough fighting men, so we revered Himalayas and Indusagara. We know these invaders and murdering hordes were kept out only because of Himalayan ranges and the ocean. So we call this land as Hindu. Anybody who is born in this land is Hindu. An earthworm in this land is Hindu. Oh, are you promoting only one religion? I'm talking about a geographical identity. When a lion born in Africa can be an African lion, why can't an earthworm born in this land be a Hindu earthworm? Now you've gotten this idea that Hindu means some kind of a religion. No, this is because of aggression from outside. It is the English people who invented Hinduism. Otherwise, in the same house, people are worshipping 5 different gods and one guy doesn't worship anything and they're all Hindu. One guy chants mantra, another guy is silent, another guy doesn't do anything, but all of them are Hindus. So it doesn't subscribe to any particular belief system. Well, there is an overarching culture, but above all the land that we called as Hindu. So if we say this is Hindustan, not us, Pakistani people call us Hindustan all the time. In the south you may not be using the word Hindustan, but in the north, in the Hindi language, generally they're calling it Hindustan. Because this was called as Hindustan. What was so unique about this land is, this was the only land on the planet where there was no the god. All the gods that so-called Hindus worship are men who walked on this planet. Rama, Krishna, Shiva, these are people, historical men who walked on this planet. Because of the phenomenal way they lived, people bowed down to them, recognizing certain qualities in them. When we say recognizing qualities, they did not do any miracles, they did not fly in the sky, they did not drop from the sky, none of those things happened. Normal birth, normal life, they all got married, they went through all the troubles of life and war and wife and all the problems, okay? More problems than you can imagine. You look at Krishna's life, Rama's life, more problems than you can imagine, isn't it? Let's take Rama as an example because he's constantly in focus. Because that's what you think is rewriting of the constitution. It is not rewriting of the constitution. Rama, born in Ayodhya, rightfully a king, coronated as a king at a young age, But then due to political reasons, he is made to go into the jungle with his young wife. This wife is not a tribal woman, she's a princess. To take this young woman and go into the jungle, believe me, even you, though you're a man, especially the girls here, if you take them in the jungle for 1 month and bring them out, nobody will recognize them, they will become like that. In 4 weeks, yes. When I stayed for weeks in the jungle and I came home, my mother would look at me and be shocked, sometimes she cried, "What's happened to you?" Just burnt head to toe, insect bites, mosquitoes, nonsense, all kinds of things. You go and sleep in the jungle for 3 days and see what happens to you. So jungle is not like how you see in the television channel, la la la, Rama Sita dancing, okay? That's not how jungle is, they didn't go there for honeymoon. So, unfortunately, it's a punishment to be in the jungle. As if that was not enough, these people from Sri Lanka came… Are you Sri Lankan? Okay, that's safe then. These people from Sri Lanka came and kidnapped his wife. He is a king, if one wife goes, he can find a local solution right there. Yes or no? He's a king, after all, he can marry 100 wives. But the man loves his wife, all the way he walks down. I want you to imagine, not today, he did not fly to Colombo. Walked down with his brother, just 2 of them, not an army, just 2 of them. Walked all the way down, begged for help in Tamil Nadu, formed a little army, crossed over, burned down a beautiful city there, killed lots of people, somehow got his wife back. To do all this, that woman must have meant so much to him, yes or no? Hello? You think so or no? Huh? Absolutely, isn't it? 5,000, 6,000 years ago, for a man to walk from one part of the country to another, it's like another world, literally. He got back his wife, went back and became a king again. She became fully pregnant. When she's pregnant, some other political situation comes once again, and he has to send her back into the jungle, all alone. He did not make arrangements, do you understand? He just left her in the forest. He ordered, "Lakshmana, you cannot go. She has to go by herself." And she went. If anything really horrible can happen in your life, it is just that knowingly or unknowingly you kill your own children. That's the worst thing that can happen to you, isn't it? He almost killed both his children. He fought a battle with them, nearly killed them. Fortunately, it didn't happen. And then his wife dies in the jungle, never sees him again. You call this a successful life? Hello? If any one of these things happen in your life, you will be shattered, most of you. But all this series is a serial disaster. But in all this, the man did not become vengeful, resentful, angry, he just doing his duty. People these days, lot of women's groups are asking me, "Sadhguru, what kind of a man is he? Just because somebody said something, he sends his wife, pregnant wife into forest, we don't want this man." So I asked, see, it is not about he rejecting his wife. It is not because he wants to get rid of his wife. She means enough for him to walk all the way down, fight a battle for her. So he's not trying to get rid of her. And especially for a king who has an empire, when his wife is pregnant is a big thing because children are going to come. It's the most important thing. Especially for a king, having a child, especially a son, is very, very important in those days. But not knowing, no sonogram, you know, he doesn't know whether it's boys or girls, or boy or girl, and he sends her into the jungle. What this means is, he held the well-being of his citizens way above the well-being of his family. Do you want such a leader in this country or not? Huh? When everybody is trying to push their sons and daughters, whether they are worth something or nothing, do you want a king or a prime minister or a chief minister or a leader in this country who will sacrifice his own family for the sake of this nation's well-being? Do you want such a leader or no even today? So this is 6,000–7,000 years ago, that's the kind of leader he was. And because no matter what happened to him, outside serial disaster, but inside unmoved by anything, he maintained his highest level of behavior, consciousness and everything. It is to that freedom that we bow down and Rama is a god, but still he is having a real estate problem, even today. And this you call as rewriting of constitution? Who is giving you this idea? Please don't go by the social media rubbish, anybody can write anything. Nobody is rewriting the constitution of this nation.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Most of time, for no reasons, police force targeted by peoples, and most of educated and cultivated, what we call in youths and educated, try to bypass the rules and regulations. And I need some suggestions to police force and also from you, Sadhguru. Thank you.
Well, this question is being asked by a police officer. We must understand this. We, as Indians, we are still not a law-abiding nation. Because this is a hangover from pre-independence era. We still think the laws are made by somebody who is an oppressor. We don't understand it's a democracy, it's our nation, the rules are our rules. We think these are British rules. We still understand and experience authority as some kind of a imposition, not a support. Even now, it's very strange. In any other country in Europe or United States or something, if there's a policeman standing there, people feel confident, oh, there is a police, no problem. But in this country, most of the people, le police kano. We still think police is managed by the British. We don't understand these are Indian policemen, uniformed for our protection and well-being. This has not gone across. We can't just blame this on the citizenry. I think it's from both sides. Still police, I think our police have not been trained as to how to be friends of citizens. Some effort is happening now. In some cities particularly, it is happening. But generally, the training is also from pre-independence era. First thing is, so people think police means somebody you fear, you avoid the police. Citizens, law-abiding citizens must seek the police always, because police means safety, police does not mean danger. So this is still there, this is from another time but still hanging on to us. We need to change this, police reforms are needed, lot is being talked about, nothing has happened. I must tell you a story, because police constables are standing here. I don't know when they last ate, when they drank a glass of water, when they peed, when they went to the toilet, I don't know. Because I was here, I had a farm in Yelwal, I was staying there. One day, this police constable that I had seen him here and there, he doesn't belong to Yelwal police station, but he was on some VIP duty. He comes to my farm and cries to me, literally with tears. He's saying, "Snana madu 3 divasa aaytu, Swami. 3 days since I had a shower." And he wants to use the toilet and have a shower. Please allow me to have it in your… I had a little space. He's crying. I asked, why are you crying? Why couldn't you have shower somewhere? He's on VIP duty. No shower, no shit, no nothing. Simply on 24 hours a day, somebody brings one packet of something to eat and throw it at him, and he eats and he stands there and stands there and stands there. Maybe the conditions are little better today than what it was at that time, I hope it is. I'm sure it's a little better, but still it's not great. So, it's important that the conditions in which the police work have to change so that they can smile, they can address the people as citizens of this nation. It's very important, but I think those conditions are not there. Above all, I think the training has to change. Maybe for IPS officers and others, the training is okay. Down below, it is all pre-independence era training, the same thing. People must be beaten always. So, if the training processes change, I feel even uniforms can be made more friendly. It need not be so military-like. It could be made more friendly so people will feel comfortable going to them. Armed police can be different. Regular city police have to become like volunteers and, they must look different, their training must be different, their living conditions must be different. Only then they can be friendly with people and do something. And the laws must be simplified so that people can easily follow the laws. But right now, all of you young people, I'm telling you, this is something I notice. People are always talking, Sadhguru, politicians are so corrupt, the nation is corrupt, as if you're clean. Just a simple question. What I see is, late night means if I'm driving at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, that's different, that's usually my time. But some days when I'm going from Coimbatore airport to the ashram, 9:30, 10 o'clock, the policeman has left at 9 o'clock and lights are just flashing, or sometimes it's still working, red and green. Red light comes, I stop my car because I drive myself, and from behind me, pee, 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 pee. I just stopped at the red light, what's the problem? And that guy on a TVS moped comes next to me. What he's telling me is, no police, what are you doing, idiot? That's what he's telling me. So, if there is no policeman, you will not stop at the red light. If we make you the chief minister or prime minister of this country, what will you do, huh? Because you're essentially a lawbreaker. Yes? It's very important, all the youth, I'm telling you, if you want a great country, the first and foremost thing is, all of us follow the law. No policeman need to be there. Only for criminals, policeman is needed. For ordinary citizens, why do you need policeman to tell you stop at the red light? You must know this is the law and this is what I do, isn't it? See, all this is fine. The problem is, when everybody stops, one guy, when he goes off, he thinks he's a hero. When one person breaks the law, it looks like heroic. If everybody breaks the law tomorrow, we know where to pick you up. Yes? We know where to pick you up, which hospital or which morgue we need to look for you, we know if everybody breaks the law. So, it is upon the citizenry to become law-abiding if we want to create a great nation where we want to live, unless you want to escape to America. Most people today, if United States of America opens up its visa system, I think 60% of the Indian population will swim across the ocean and go away to America. Because we mess up our nation and we want to go somewhere else. It's very important, youth of this nation stand up that we want to build a great nation where everybody wants to come, not where everybody wants to go. Hello? Do you want an India where everybody wants to come to this country, or you want an India where everybody wants to run away if they get the opportunity? Huh? This must be a nation where everybody wants to come, isn't it? For this, the most fundamental thing is, it's a law-abiding nation. What a law-abiding nation means, that at every moment we don't have to clash with you. We know, when we see you on the street, we know what you're going to do. Right now in India, you don't know what you're going to do. We don't know who will come where. I will tell you, if you drive in United States, if you drive, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning I'm driving, red light means everybody stops, no traffic. But still everybody stops, red lights mean stop, that's all. The beautiful thing, you heard of Michael Jordan. You heard of Michael Jordan, the basketball? Michael Jordan was driving in Boston. There's a stop sign. Stop sign, everybody must stop. Michael Jordan was driving a sports car, just slowed down and then went. The policeman caught him. And he said, "You didn't stop, it's a stop sign, so I have to give you a ticket." He said, "Come on, I slowed down, I'm Michael Jordan. I'm a star. And I slowed down, I didn't go through. I slowed down and went." So the policeman took out his… they have a baton which is not as big a lathi as the Indian police, a short one. So Michael Jordan is clean shaven, he started tapping him on his head. "Shall I stop or slow down?" If we do not create a law-abiding nation, we are always confused what the next person will do. Yes? All the time. Driving on Indian streets, well, people like me have grown up on the streets, we know how to ride, we manage all those things. But for most new people who drive on an Indian street, it's a crazy thing. And every year we're killing 140,000 people. Do you know? Road accidents. Every year, 140,000 people die. Every 12 minutes, somebody loses a limb. Every 4 minutes, somebody has a fracture in this country. World Health Organization says that India wanting to be an economic power will never happen because in another 20 years, more than 60% of them will be crippled on roads if you don't change the traffic situation. This is what is happening. Every day, just if you don't understand what I am saying, just go to the orthopedic wards of every hospital and see, every day it's busy, long queues for surgeries, broken limbs. So we are going to create a nation full of cripples if we do not become law-abiding, not just in traffic. In every way, if you are law-abiding, people will want to do business with us. Now people are terrified to do business with us because we'll do anything. People are terrified to drive on Indian roads because we will do just about anything anywhere. Right there in the middle of the street, we will stop and start doing our texting. All kinds of things. Young people must set this standard that we are a law-abiding nation. If we create that, then policeman is not somebody you fear. Policeman is there to help. Well, the police reforms also need to happen. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.